Today we're looking at the heater switch that Chrysler used from 59 through, I'm guessing 1966, possibly longer. 59 was the first year for this vacuum push button system, and it's kind of its own beast. If you want to get into the vacuum routing, you can find it in the 59 service manual. So the switch, if you had a 60, 61 or 62, would look something like this. Now this is for an AC version. And the non-AC versions are different. So you've got your row of push buttons that go back to this switch, well, here. And on the back of the switch, you have your electrical connections and your vacuum connections. This is an AC switch, and it is different than cars without AC. Now these are 63, 64. And it's basically the same switch, only they've rotated it 90 degrees, pretty much just for packaging. And here's one that is for a non-AC car. So, buttons off, low fan, high fan, defrost and air. Going back to, a similar looking switch, but they're different. Here we have the one that started the whole project. This is out of the J, and I'm a fuss budget. I like to have my heater fan working. Well, I checked the fuses, and I checked and checked, and it turned out it was the switch, which, as you can see, now that I pulled it out, somebody worked on it before. They broke the pins off the back, and they put in, well, that's a pretty good job, but they put in, brass or copper pipes to replace it. And this is the style switch that started in 65. And if you flip it over, you can see it's still the same basic thing. This one still has the vacuum lines hooked up and the cables and everything. It's just a spare for parts. So if you were lucky enough, you might be able to find a new switch. This is for the J, and I would need a non-AC switch, and this is what it looks like. One-piece heater. This connection is the feed wire. This connection is low fan speed. This connection, high fan speed. So you can test with a continuity meter, just to make sure that what you've got is working. And in this position, which is low fan, you have continuity between these two. High fan, power going to high fan, and this is defrost, power going to defrost. This is the air position, and that is power going to nothing. If you were to take this switch apart, here is what you would have. Inside the switch are these sliders with different shapes, and well, here you go. So as the buttons are pushed, they move these sliders back and forth, and that moves a switch on the back, which turns on and off different vacuum ports. Now, this is generally how you find your switches. You know, the pins break off, and well, then you're going to either have to fix them or send them out for repair or replace. As far as the electrics go, yeah, see the copper? And see the copper? Well, here's your feed bar, and so this runs up to a bar up inside of here, and well, here you can kind of see well, here's your feed bar, your feed connection. This is your plus connection, and it runs to a bar. You probably can't see it, but it's up in here. You can kind of see it. And you see the bar on the bottom, that's your connection. And as these buttons slide forward and back, this copper connection will just connect the top bar to the bottom bar. This one here is the air button, and it has no connection. I suppose they just have the piece of copper in there so they could make all the buttons the same, and it makes assembly that much easier. So that's what's going on inside of here. The job for the J is complicated a little because it's a non-air conditioned car, and I have very few spare non-AC switches. In fact, even though this one is brand new, continuity tells me I have no connection between these two posts. So I would not have a low-speed fan, so I don't want to use it. What I do have are lots of brand new AC switches. And although it physically fits, electrically it won't. You can see the bars are different. Well, the AC switch has got to also control the air compressor clutch. And AC cars also have a 3-speed fan, low, medium, and high. And the way they do that is through a separate fan speed switch and a resistor. You can see that illustrated in the electrical diagrams. So my thought was to use an air-conditioned switch in my non-air-conditioned car, but if I do that, I will lose my low fan speed. So what to do if you have gotten this far into your project and found that you've got defective switches, and there's several ways these switches can be defective. One is like this one. The buttons are just too hard to push. You know, the sliders inside are just not going to slide. The other way, you know, you could have a field of broken vacuum pins. Sometimes these connections in here get hot and you get melting of the switch. So there's lots of ways the switch could fail on you. John Grady has made new sliders and will rebuild your switch. The contact information is in this video. This is a spare dashboard off of a 62 Chrysler. It would be the same, basically, 60, 61, 62. And this is the area that the heater switch would be found. I am illustrating this because access to the heater switch can be difficult. You may get some relief if you remove the speaker grill and the speaker and be able to access from coming in through here. One of the problems you're going to have when you're accessing the switch, you'll find this Bowden cable, and that runs from the heat valve, which I'm holding here, snakes up under the dashboard and gets to the heat regulator switch, which you would find in here. That's clipped to the heater switch, and you've got to remove the keeper switch, the keeper clip. This is the J that I'm working on, and as you can see, I have removed the speaker grill and the radio speaker, which then gives me lots of access so that I can get to the push button switch area. Now, I was talking about that heater control cable. There you can see the 3 wires for the fan speeds. And let's see where I put the cable. Well, there's the vacuum tubes. There's the cable that I'm talking about that goes to the heater control valve. Here are those sliders, the 4 of them that have been taken out of the switch. You can kind of see the old grease or lubricant that was on them, and it's gotten so old that it's become gummy, and so now these things don't want to slide over each other, and then your pins become hard to push. In case I might have said that wrong before, this is your power terminal. This is your high-speed fan connection. This is your low-speed fan connection. The low speed works only in one position, that's with the low speed button. In the high fan and the defrost, that's when you have this connection made high speed. If I said that wrong earlier, low speed, high speed. And here you go, the finished product, the J reassembled. So let's see what she does. High fan, defroster, air should have nothing. Off should have nothing. And low fan, and happens to be so low you can barely hear it. On to the next project.